Have you ever had that feeling where you're pretty sure about something, but you can't, say it's 100% fact? Well, today we are cracking that exact code. We're going to turn you into a full-fledged language detective.
Okay, so picture this. Your friend gets off a 10-hour flight. You could just say, "You are tired." But do you really know that? Is it a fact? Or what if you said, "You must be tired"? Now see the difference? That's not a fact. That's a deduction. It's a conclusion you've drawn based on a huge clue, that long flight. And that is exactly what we're diving into today.
So, welcome, language detective. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to master a special set of tools. We call them modal verbs and use them to solve all these little puzzles hidden in our everyday conversations. You're going to learn how to spot the clues and make some seriously solid deductions.
All right, so our first stop is the here and now. We're going to focus on clues that are right in front of us and figure out how to make smart guesses about what's happening right now.
The first tool in your new detective kit is the word must. This is your go-to when you've looked at all the evidence and you're feeling like 99% sure that something is true. Let's look at a classic case. The clue: the lights are on in his room. Now, you don't actually see him, right? But the evidence points to one very strong conclusion. He must be home. It's a logical leap, not just some random guess.
But of course, any good detective also needs to know when something is definitely not true. And for that, we have must not. This is for when all the clues are screaming that something just isn't the case.
For example, imagine you walk past a restaurant at 8 p.m., peak dinner time, and it's a ghost town. The empty tables, that's your clue. So what's the deduction? It must not be very popular. So think of these as your detective's blueprints for building deductions. You can use must be with an adjective like you must be hungry, or for an action that's happening right now, like they must be having a party. You can even use must with pretty much any other verb, like he must know a lot of people. These are your core patterns.
Okay, detective, time to fire up the time machine. We're shifting our investigation into the past. Let's see how we can figure out what's already happened based on the clues left behind.
And you know what? The formula for investigating the past is actually super simple. You just take your trusty tools, must or must not, and you add have plus the past participle of the verb. That's it. That little structure lets you make all sorts of deductions about the past.
Here's a perfect example. The situation right now, the clue, is you're missing a glove. So what's the past event you're deducing? Dropping it. You're looking at the evidence now and making a logical conclusion about something you did before. I must have dropped it.
And here's how it works for the negative. The clue: she walked right past you and didn't say a word. Now, instead of jumping to the conclusion that she's rude, you make a much more logical deduction about the past. Why didn't she say hi? Well, she must not have seen me. It's the most likely explanation. All right, time to level up. This is where the great detectives really shine. We're talking about the very subtle but very important difference between thinking something is impossible versus just being sure it isn't true. Okay, so this slide is really, really important. Let's break it down. On the left, we have he can't be hungry. Why? Because the clue is that he just ate a massive lunch. It feels logically impossible for him to be hungry. Now look at the right. The clue is he said no to cake. You deduce he must not be hungry. It's a strong guess for sure, but it's not impossible. Maybe he just doesn't like cake. So remember, can't is your special tool for when something just feels outside the realm of possibility.
All right, you've got the tools, you've seen the blueprints. Now it's time for the final exam. Let's put your new skills to the test and see if you can solve a few cases. Okay, case number 1. You wake up, look out the window, and the street is soaking wet. What's your deduction about what happened last night? And the solution is, it must have rained. Of course. The wet street is your clue, and you're making a confident deduction about the past. Fantastic work. Case number 2. Your friend just finished a huge 3-course dinner, like 10 minutes ago. What's your conclusion about his current level of hunger?
The only logical answer here is he can't be hungry. Given the evidence, that huge meal, it's not just unlikely, it feels downright impossible. That's the perfect time to use can't.
All right, last one, the final case. You see someone you know, They walk straight past you and don't say a single word. What's the logical conclusion you should draw here?
And the solution is, she must not have seen me. It's simply the most logical, negative deduction you can make about that past moment. Case closed. You've cracked them all.
So there you have it, your complete detective toolkit, all packed up. You've got must for when you're sure, must not for when you're sure something's not true. You've got your secret weapon, can't, for when things are just impossible. And of course, your time machine, adding have to investigate clues from the past.
You've officially graduated. You're a language detective now. So the real question is, with these tools in your belt, what clues are out there waiting for you, hiding in plain sight in the conversations you have every single day? Happy investigating.